Hey guys, hey friends. Really sorry about that. All right. So we're going to talk about the immune system. We're going to talk about the coronavirus. We're going to talk about ketones. I got to turn this light down because it's bright as hell. All right. We got some fat cell stuff going on. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drop some links because some of you are on the other page. Just give me a second here. What's up, friends? Hey, sorry about that. I'm really sorry about this small little snafu. Okay, copy link. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to drop this in the chat on the other page. Bam. One quick second. We are live here. All right. So what's going on? How's the weekend going for everyone? What's up, Ryan? Spive21 in the Heezy. How you doing? Okay. So I had a nice presentation all lined up on my Wirecast, and something was really going wrong with that. Let me just show it to you because it's frustrating. So I don't even know if I want to get into it. So long story short, a lot of you have questions about the immune system, about the coronavirus, about the ketogenic diet, and just wanted to share with you a little bit of research that actually was emerging, I think, in the last 10 days or so. Brianna Stubbs, who was just on the podcast this morning, hey guys, thanks for being here. I normally try not to do stuff from my phone because it's kind of shaky, but this is a very timely topic. So we're going to talk about gamma T cells and your immune system, and actually have some charts and images that I was trying to present to you in my Wirecast, but for some reason it couldn't sync. So let's just dive right into it. You know, the coronavirus is now, people are dying from this, at least over in China. I think there's been, I don't know, 50 or 60 mortalities. And I want to share with you some insights and tips about things that you might be able to do from a dietary perspective that may enhance your immunity should this turn into shift from a pandemic to an epidemic. So I'm very grateful that you're all here. If you're digging this content, please hit that like button. If you were on our other live that didn't get going, I really apologize about that. But let's get into it. So what I'm going to do here is I might flip the camera around so we can actually look at some studies and talk about the gamma T cells and some interesting animal model studies. So when we're talking about the ketogenic diet and ketones in regards to the immune system, the one thing that I really want you to understand, and thankfully other people are now talking about this, and this is this link between meta-inflammation and this whole immunometabolic model. A book that I have back here, Belly Fat Effect. Some of you have read it. Where are we at here? It's hard for me to find, but I'll maybe have Deanna grab it for me. So that was a book that I published back in 2014, and the whole premise of that book was this interconnectedness between the metabolism and our immune system. So the big thing that you need to understand, you know, whether you're talking about protecting yourself from a potential coronavirus pandemic or epidemic, or just getting sick in general, is your metabolic health is intimately linked to your immune system health. And this is this coalescence or crosstalk between this immunometabolic system. And along those lines, let me just pull up some studies here. Do you all want to see the studies? Let me know. Let me flip it around. Okay, so this is what I had available for you on my Wirecast, but it was having some issues. So let's just go here. Here we go. All right. I know this. Oh yeah, this is gonna work just fine. All right. So pretend that this was on my Wirecast like I normally do. What we're gonna talk about today is the gamma T cells. Okay, gamma delta T cells. All right. So I know a lot of you have taken basic biology, and you remember looking at T cells and B cells and macrophages and monocytes, and that stuff was really complicated and confusing. But let me just make the immune system very simple for you to understand. You have some sort of immunological antigen. So this is going to be a non-self antigen that your body's exposed to. This could be coronavirus, this could be influenza, this could be Escherichia coli, this could be Klebsiella, right? Your T cells and gamma delta T cells are going to sense those antigens. They have these toll-like receptors that are sampling the environment, and what they're going to do is send those messages. It's a ricochet, like a telephone game throughout the body. Now, the reason why we're going to spend a lot of time on these gamma delta T cells is because these T cells in animal models have been shown to, guess what, be affected and increased by ketones. And this is where this conversation gets very interesting. Thanks for being here, friends. If you're digging this content, please hit that like button so more people learn this information. I think it's very important. Okay, now T cells can get dysfunctional from both your self antigens, in the context of autoimmunity and non-self foreign antigens. So if you're exposed to coronavirus, influenza virus, Escherichia coli, Klebsiella, all that, these messages are going to be interpreted via the gamma delta T cells, and then what's going to happen is there's going to be an immunological response, whether it's increased antibody production, whether it's chemokines, cytokines, interleukins, and all this, right? Okay, so now that we have that in mind, okay, so you understand now you have this immune stimulus, okay, this exposure to some sort of antigen. That message gets translated by way of antigen presentation, the toll-like receptors to the gamma delta T cells. Those T cells then ricochet that message throughout the immune system. Now, let me share with you another paper that actually talked about how the ketogenic diet, at least in animal model studies, has been shown to affect the gamma delta T cells. All right, I'm pulling up the paper right here. Sorry, guys and gals. All right, this is going to be an up close and personal discussion here, right? All right, papers. I swear this is all fixed on my Wirecast. I'm switching software. I'm going to switch my live stream software because it's just giving me too much trouble here. Okay, all right, hold up. No rush. I like your patience. If you're wondering why I look a little bit disheveled, our sump pump broke this weekend, and I had to go under my crawl space in 7 inches of water. There was rat crap, hair from rats. It was so disgusting. I wanted to bring my camera down there to show you guys because it was so bad. All right, so let's go back to the science here. Here we go. All right. Okay, so if you're just hopping on, friends, we're talking about how the ketogenic diet may affect the immune system in the context of influenza and also coronavirus, okay? So you may remember this name, Brianna Stubbs. She was just on the podcast this morning, and we caught up at Metabolic Health Summit. Also, John Newman over at the Buck Institute was there as well. At Metabolic Health Summit. We didn't film with him, but we plan to. So this is a really interesting review. I'm going to put a blog post. I'll update it in the description. But long story short, so the ketogenic diet has been shown to increase the population of the gamma delta T cells. And so that's what's unique. And again, this is just animal model studies. And so long story short, a long-term high-fat diet in a mouse actually causes issues. Like mice don't do well on a long-term high-fat ketogenic style diet, but just a short duration, they seem to do well. And so what this review paper, again, this is the paper that we're talking about here, ketogenic diet and adipose tissue inflammation, a simple story, fat chant. So it is complex, but to make a long story short, in these animal models, the ketogenic diet increases the population of the gamma delta T cells. And for those of you just joining us, we just showed with you kind of that image here about the importance of the immune surveillance offered by the gamma delta T cells. And so that's, I'm going to scroll down to it. Again, now these gamma delta T cells are also found in your lung tissue, okay? And so these are, clinical studies, at least in animal models, has shown that when you go on a ketogenic diet, let's just go back over here. Again, I wish my Wirecast was dialed in because we wouldn't have to go back and forth. We increase this population of this important antigen presenting gamma delta T cell with the ketogenic diet, at least in animals. And here's what this T cell does. The gamma delta T cell, what it does is it increases the innate immune system response and adaptive immune system response when antigens are exposed to it. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. So that's what we're, what is pretty fascinating. I'll do a detailed video on this, so it's not so sporadic from the iPhone. But I just wanted to kind of share this with you because I'm getting a lot of questions from folks about, what sort of dietary strategies and therapies might be effective when it comes to enhancing the immune system. And I will just give you my anecdotal stuff. A lot of you know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I travel a lot and used to travel a lot more. And cold plunges can be one of the most effective, and cold showers can be really effective. What's up, Terry? Can be very effective for enhancing your immune system. So this time of year, there's been a lot of bugs going around. A lot of people have been more sick than normal, even before this whole coronavirus thing started to get on the radar. And I was nervous about this because we had this LA trip, to Long Beach, for the Metabolic Health Summit. Super worried about that. So I've been doing my cold plunges, and man, I haven't gotten sick. Hello from Montreal, Kelly. What is up? So yeah, I would definitely, if you're worried about your immune system, what I would suggest you do is take a cold shower, take a cold plunge. It can be very effective. So let's get into some questions here. I saw some things pop up here. M. Davila says, I read somewhere fasting helps. Yeah, so we've talked a lot about autophagy on this channel. We know that autophagy is a process of cleaning up intracellular garbage, but keep in mind, autophagy also clears up pathogens inside your cells, and viruses are an intracellular pathogen. So that can be effective. Gio Franco says, you got it, taking a cold shower later. It can enhance your sleep as well. Terry says, good idea. Jeremy says, hello here over the Cascades in Tri-Cities. What is up, Jeremy? I like the Tri-Cities. My brother lives in Yakima, actually. What's up from Charlotte? Steven says, how are they defining the ketogenic diet? How many proteins? Carnivorous, vegan? Yeah, so Stephen, this is a really good question that you brought up. So this question about the ketogenic diet. Remember, what we're talking about is it's just animal models. So let me just quickly go over here because this was a question that Stephen asked. And Karen, I'll get to your question about vitamin D very, very soon. So again, we don't have human clinical studies on this, but we do have animal model data showing that the ketogenic diet affects this very important immune cell called the gamma delta T cell. And we just talked about, if you want to hit the rewind button, we talked about the physiology of this gamma delta T cell. It's found all throughout the body, but in the lung tissue as well. So Kelly, or let's see, who had a question here about vitamin D? Okay, so Jen and who else was it? Karen, okay. Karen says she increased her vitamin D3 to 15,000 IUs per day. So I would say, Karen, I'm all in favor of vitamin D. I think that's on the high end. You may just want to monitor your blood and look at your calcium levels, and you might, get calcium levels might be a little bit too high. I would also make sure that you're pairing your vitamin D with K2. Shameless plug, our Myoscience product, we have essential fatty nutrients that has vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 together, the MK7 form of K2. Now, I recommend taking your D3 with your K2 because the vitamin K2, particularly the MK7 form of vitamin K2, can enhance the utilization and post absorption processing of vitamin D. So link is below. So R3 Health says she takes, or he takes, 5,000 IUs of D3 per day. Sounds great. Again, you want to be taking it with the vitamin K, so you can go to our website, myoscience.com. It's a really affordable product. Harot Anian says, any tips to get over an infection if you're already sick? So sauna therapy can be so effective, and you want to get really hot, Ariane. So I would suggest, we have a sauna. I could show it. It's in my bedroom right there. I like to go into the sauna that's about 140 degrees at least. That's on the minimum. That's like an infrared sauna. Normally the sauna that I go in 5 days a week for 20 minutes per session is 180 degrees. So Karen says she's taking K concentrate too. Okay, what form of vitamin K? Not all vitamin K forms are the same, just so you know. I'm sure you're taking a good product, but just again, a little plug that we offer at Myoscience. We offer a fermented MK7 form from a company called Gnosis in Italy. It's a really clean product. Okay, Celise says, I'm taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D per day and now doing a carnivorous diet. Should I keep taking the vitamin D? Well, the cool thing about all these different micronutrients, including omega-3s, is you can test for these. So a lot of people say, oh, you don't need vitamin D. Oh, you don't need omega-3s. Well, I suggest checking your 25 hydroxy vitamin D and your 125 dihydroxy vitamin D so that you understand what's going on with your vitamin D levels. Again, most commercial labs, Quest, LabCorp, etc., are going to give you a vitamin D, which is going to be a 25 hydroxy vitamin D level. Also, what you want to look for is your 125 dihydroxy vitamin D. So that's going to give you a better insight. Jamie says, Myosense collagen, COFA certified. So yeah, we get all of our bovine collagen from farmers in Europe. So this is 100% bovine collagen. So that, as you know, Europeans have much different, guidelines. They have much different respect and treatment for animals. So 100% no feedlot cattle. I can't guarantee you that. But we buy the raw material from a company called Gelita, which is a German biotech company, and they're one of the biggest collagen suppliers in the world. It's a super, super clean product. There's clinical studies on this. So that's why we offer our optimized collagen peptides. All right. Yeah, so Harut says MK4 versus MK7. This is a matter of there is some back and forth on this. MK7 at this point in time has the most clinical studies and data on it, so that's why we use it. Um, Someone is saying here, Dr. Harris on vitamin D. I don't know Mark Harris, but maybe it's good here. Okay, Heidi says I think I caused a cytokine storm with sauna and fasting. Heidi, I think it's or Heider, I think it's more likely that you're dehydrated. We know that the natural resource of fasting, when you're fasting, oh, we're joined by a little monkey. You want to come say hi? You want your tasty? You want your vitamin? Okay. She already had it. So we know that the natural resource of fasting is this phenomenon wherein when you're fasting, what happens is, do you fast? What? Are you keto? What is it? What does keto mean?
Healthy?
Healthy? Do you think keto is good or bad?
Good.
Is ice cream good or bad?
Bad.
What about bread?
Bad.
Cookies?
Bad.
What? What about mom's cookies?
Mom's cookies are good.
What about vitamin D?
Good?
I don't know. Magnesium? Do you think vitamin K is good? Vitamin K?
What's that?
It's a vitamin. It's in your tasty micro vitamin.
Yeah.
Do you want one? You already have one?
Yeah.
Okay. Brianna is gonna have one. Oh. All right, here we go. Show it. There you go. Okay. We're just doing a little taste test here. We're gonna get back to the topic at hand. All right, here you go. So it's a little. What is it? Can you describe it?
A raspberry?
Is it a gummy? Do you think other kids should take their vitamins? All right, I'll put the link for that. And Bug, if you want to come do some more stuff, we're just talking here about the immune system. We're talking about vitamin K. Whoa. All right. We are kind of twins, eh? This live has gone from good to just too casual. She is 8 years old or 7 years old. She'll be 8 very, very soon. What kind of sauna do I have in the bedroom? We have an infrared sauna, high-tech health sauna. But at our gym, yeah, I will DM you links as well. So at our gym, we have a high heat sauna. It goes up to 180 degrees. So how do you choose one sauna? I like, most of the research is on saunas that are at 180 degrees or more. So you want to get high heats. The infrared saunas, they don't get as hot as the traditional saunas, but infrared, you just have to stay in longer. Best probiotic. Well, so you guys know, I have a supplement company, so I'm a little bit biased, but I've been selling supplements professionally since 2006. So that's why I started my own brand. But the thing that you want is strain-specific strains on supplements. And so we do our ProBio Supreme, which is one thing that you want to keep in mind. What's unique about that is it's shelf stable. There's human clinical studies on the strains, and they're delivered in a nitrogen purge blister pack. So they're very very shelf stable, travel friendly. If you live in a high moisture area, they're still going to get in there. Okay, Adam Smith says, "What are your thoughts on mastic gum?" Mastic gum. I think there's decent research on that for gut health and things along those lines. To be honest, clinically, I haven't seen a lot of people use it. I know some people swear by it for H. pylori, things like that. I think it could be helpful. I'm a big fan of zinc carnosine for H. pylori and gut health. Sean C says exogenous ketones supportive for sleep during transition. Yes, they totally can. Sean C, check out Ketone Aid. The keto ester is phenomenal for sleep. I don't use it all the time, but it can be very effective. Palm Bear says, little girl knows more these days than adults. We're trying, we're working, buddy. Um, Great question here. My bones are weak. What should I take? Well, obviously I could recommend a million supplements: silicon, strontium, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K. So I would start out with definitely vitamin D, vitamin K. I would make sure that you're doing weight training. Look at your hormones. Go to a functional medicine doctor and get your hormones tested. So let's see. Question came in here. Guess I'll wait for more research. I understand not everyone is willing to discuss fringe topics, even though keto used to be fringe. What was your question? I didn't see your question come in here. Okay, embracing health. Where can I find a list of products that you discussed? I need to update I just created this quick because I was supposed to stream this from my other platform, which was not working for whatever reason. So what I will do is go to, you can go to our other sister website, myoscience.com, MYOXCIENCE.com, and there's a link on the banner that says new products for 2020. Many of the products we've talked about are there. Um, let's see here. Steven says, what do I think of BFR, blood flow restriction training? Yeah, I think for arms it can be helpful. For legs, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, there's some really good research there. I think if your time is limited or you want to introduce some novelty aspect to your training, I think BFR is good. It's worthwhile. I try, I do it quite often, mostly for arms, for biceps and triceps. You can't get your chest, you can't get your back. You're kind of limited to your extremities, but it can be helpful. Tom says, just about to order McDonald's through Uber Eats. Cool, Tom. I don't know why you would do that, but hats off to you, bud. Rob says, beef bone broth versus chicken bone broth. Always beef, my man. Chicken bones are like teeny little things. You guys know I love chickens. I have backyard chickens. We have turkeys. We've had chickens for almost 4 years now. But if you're trying to get collagen, you're going to get much better bang for your buck from beef. If you think about how big they are, how much blood volume they have, and all that. Kelly says, are those gummies good for teens too? Yeah, people love these gummies, to be honest. So here's a little. Let me show you the gummies. I didn't know that we were going to go down this road, but a little kid was there, and yeah. So we have two different types. So here's a little gummy right here. It's called Tasty Micros. It's available on Amazon and also on our website. Aaron says, just about to order Burger King through Uber Eats. Who are these people ordering fast food on their phone? I don't know why that's funny, but okay. Bryce says, would it be okay to have LaCroix during an extended fast like 72 hours? Okay. Look, I would say do Gerolstein or do some Topo Chico. Do Burger King. Burger King. Why did that come up? I just was reading a comment. Do some sort of carbonated water that doesn't have a sweetener in it. So what we need to kind of keep in mind here, when it comes to LaCroix and these sweetened beverages, is the cephalic phase of digestion. And so anytime our olfactory, anytime we taste, smell sweet, that can affect our glycemic levels. And it could send mixed signals to the autophagy pathways. Now, is it going to totally screw up your autophagy and affect your fast? Probably not, to be totally honest with you. If a little LaCroix gets you through your fast, then by all means do it. But I would suggest like Topo Chico or some sort of Pellegrino or carbonated water would be much better. All right. Terrence says, chewing with your mouth open. Yeah, I'm talking and chewing at the same time. It's hard to talk with your mouth closed. Sorry about that. Someone says, watch out for lead in bone broth. Yeah, I mean, this is a really, really good point. Bone broth can, when I first got really into the paleo thing back in 2006, I was doing a lot of bone broth, and I tested my heavy metals, and my cadmium, my arsenic, my lead was off the charts. So I like bone broth. I don't do as much as I used to. Okay, will probiotics pass your stomach acid? This is a great question. It depends on how they're delivered. It depends on the capsule of the probiotic that you take and the strains of the probiotic. So again, just a small plug. And again, just disclaimer, I own a supplement company. But you need to understand why I own a supplement company is because I think through things that a lot of people don't really think about because they're just, trying to get as many sales as they can. So the DR caps, which is a acid resistant vegetable capsule, that's the only veggie cap that we offer for our probiotics. It's acid resistant. So yes, if you take the MyoSense probiotics, you can bet your butt that the strains are going to resist through the stomach acid because the capsules don't break down until they hit the small intestine. Again, this is a DR capsule. What this means is it's resistant to, it's dietary resistant, so it's resistant to stomach acid. So great question, but most probiotics, they don't, most companies don't even know about these capsules yet. Steven says fast recommendation of length. It depends on your goals, but I don't know what your goals are. I don't know your health history. I don't know what's going on with you. I fast for 16 hours every day. I do 16-8. One day a week, I do a 20 to 24 hour fast. Okay, great question from Katie. Does taking a food source multivitamin during a prolonged fast break it? Well, it depends. What do you mean? Are you taking a standard process food source multivitamin? What you need to understand is these food source multivitamins, they don't really have a lot of food in them and they're supplemented with synthetic micronutrients. And so a lot of companies say it's food based in this, but when you actually look at it, you're not going to get a lot of folate or B12. You're not going to get a lot of zinc or magnesium from whole foods. Those are usually, mineral and vitamin extracts that they might add to a whole food base. And so you need to kind of look at really what you're getting. What I would you want to avoid sugar, you want to avoid carbohydrates when you're fasting. Kathy says, a little Burger King never affected anyone's fast. Yeah. Okay. Can you please review what you mentioned about ketones and immunity? Yeah, let's dive into it. We have a lot more people on with us, and I was going to do this from my computer had an issue. So let's just quickly review. And so earlier today, friends, we just had Brianna Stubbs on. And so she's the co-author of this paper with John C. Newman. And they reviewed a few papers that I'm going to have to update this YouTube video link with. And these are the references from this Dr. Goldberg here. He published a few papers in Nature. And to make a long story short, what he showed is that the ketogenic diet affected this really important innate immune system cell called the gamma delta T cell. And of course, this is an animal model studies. We don't have human clinical studies. And friends, thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting that like button. That really helps. And I appreciate you on your Sunday night hanging out with us. So the ketogenic diet affected this gamma delta T cell. And here is kind of the nuances and the details of this T cell. Okay. So the gamma delta T cell is found in your immune system. It's found within your lung tissue and your mucosal tissues, like around your nose and your mouth and things like that. The gamma delta T cell is responsible for sensing via its toll-like receptors different antigens from non-self. So this could be viral patterns, this could be bacterial patterns, this could be parasites, etc. And when these non-self antigens are exposed, it's going to stimulate the response. It's going to affect increase, B cell antibody antigen production and so forth. It's going to affect cytokines and chemokines and interleukins and all that. Okay. So again, this is the cell type that is increased, and it may reduce the inflammation within the fat cells. But and again, this is Brianna Stubbs and John C. Newman over at the Buck Institute. And so this is important in my opinion, and based upon some animal model studies, because these gamma delta T cells are found within your lung tissue and in your mucosal immune system throughout the nose and the mouth. And so if you're exposed to something like influenza, coronavirus, whatever, you would want more antigen presenting cells so that when you get that non-self antigen, coronavirus, influenza, whatever, in your body, you want your immune system to recognize that and to make antibodies against that so as to minimize the burden so that that viral pattern, that bacterial pattern, that parasitic pattern, whatever the non-self antigen is, you have antibodies to protect your body from that so that if it starts to replicate, your body can eradicate it, right? So at least in animal model studies, we do know that potentially that ketones can affect this important subtype of a T cell called the gamma delta T cell. Okay, Aaron says, what type of steroids do you recommend? Are we talking anabolic steroids? Are we talking, yeah, so I don't recommend anabolic steroids. I just don't. I used to make them, I've taken them, but I don't recommend people do that. From a long-term health standpoint, I cannot recommend that. Okay, feel like I'm sneaking out prisoners with that question. What was that question? What qualifications does this guy have? Says Otto von Ickman 3. Yeah, so I have an undergraduate degree in biology and a master's degree in human clinical nutrition, and I've been in this space since 2006. So, yeah, you don't have to listen to me if you don't want. Totally get it. Okay, what else we got? What else we got? Spive21 says, thanks for being here, Spive. She says, Kimberly, a 72-hour fast once a month is good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a 72-hour fast is definitely on the longer side. If you're lean, if you're metabolically healthy, once a month 72-hour fast, that would be on the aggressive side, to be totally honest. R3 Health says what's good for eyesight. So a lot of different things are good for eyesight. You want to think for vision, fatty nutrients, zeaxanthin, lutein, vitamin A, vitamin E, all the different fatty antioxidants, CoQ10 and so forth. Spy 20, sorry, okay, thanks Spy for clarifying. Okay, someone says a 42-hour fast every Monday and Tuesday. That's my sweet spot. I break with lean protein, then fast for another 12 hours, then back to keto carnivore. So Jay Siegel, if that's working for you, amazing. Me personally, I couldn't fast that much in a week. I would be really lean and too almost emaciated. So friends, I'm hoping you're enjoying this. If you are, please hit that like button. That just helps us. That helps other people that want. And that helps me. You know, if I should do more videos like this. You know, sometimes they're totally informal. Yeah, Odo. I'm not a doctor. I did do the pre-med undergrad, and I took the MCAT. But I decided after working and doing an internship with my medical doctor friend Gerard Guillory at his clinic, that although I do like helping people in the practice of nutrition, I didn't want to go to med school because bless doctors' hearts, there's a lot of billing and charting and non-healthcare related work that goes into medicine, which really is a bummer. Just to, I would follow Dr. Guillory around, and we would shadow patients, and he would spend more time charting after seeing patients than he would interacting with the patient, and I thought that was crazy. So I just love the science so much. I don't know if I could sit there and chart like that. Stefan, thanks so much for reaching out. Dude, you wouldn't even believe it. They lost my sample. I'm so frustrated. I needed to do a follow-up video on that. So they resent me a sample, so I got to redo it. And anyway, but yeah, I'm going to do that. I know, it's crazy. I was, because it takes 6 weeks to get the results anyway, so I was waiting until January 21st, and I was so excited, and I emailed them on the 20th, and like, oh my gosh, your sample, like, we don't know what happened. And I'm like, dude, come on. So I'm going to do it tomorrow. I just got it in the mail. Okay, question came in from asterisk. She says, or he says, thoughts on hydrolyzed collagen protein powders? Any dangers, benefits? Is bone broth protein powders better? I would not get a bone broth protein powder. Yeah, hydrolyzed collagen powders can increase neuroexcitotoxicity. So it depends on how they're made. I would be definitely mindful of that. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. Oh, thank you, Four Oaks, living in Wisconsin. I appreciate that. So I don't recommend hydrolyzed collagen and hydrolyzed bone broth protein. I'll tell you why later. But Steven says, thoughts on NAD and NMN? Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting studies emerging from some of the data that I've looked at, and this doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. If you look, some of the studies have looked with a placebo group, looked at intracellular NAD levels, and actually found they went down taking those supplements. So I think it's early yet. One thing that I personally take, I take resveratrol at night. It is expensive, but resveratrol has been around for a long time, and there are other side benefits in addition to possibly affecting the sirtuins. And what I mean by that is affecting metabolic endotoxemia. So I take 1 gram per day of the Biotics Research Resverasert, and so we do sell that. So yeah, I like that. You can probably find it on other websites. Resverasert HP is a product. If you go to our website, myoscience.com, we do offer that with the coupon code HIH. Yeah, so a lot of questions coming in on collagen. I'm not telling anyone to ask these questions. Again, you guys need to understand that I have a supplement company. I source what I feel to be one of the best collagens on the market. It's a German product made by a company called Gelita. The product is on our website, myoscience.com. And so we offer the collagen peptides. And so what's unique about this is they add enzymes to the collagen to make the peptides that are more bioavailable. And these are branded, patented, clinically studied peptides that affect hair, skin, nails, bone, and soft tissue and joints. So very specific. A lot of collagen products out there are essentially just gelatin. So just keep that in mind. Zachary says Mike could stopping or taking a break from long-term fasting, like 20 hours fasting a day, 4-hour feeding window, make someone sick. I don't think it would make someone sick necessarily. It might be a shock to your circadian rhythm system. It might affect you in some way in that regard, but I'd be surprised if it made you sick unless you get really constipated, which doesn't seem very likely. Should I get chest implants? No, do not get chest implants. The Creative China says, I'm recovering from cancer. Bless your heart. Terminal neuralgia and low thyroid. Should I be on keto? Oof, gosh, I don't know your specific cancer situation. If you would, I mean, what I can say about the ketogenic diet in the context of cancer is most cancerous cells like to ferment, through the Warburg effect. You can learn a little bit more about that through Thomas Seyfried and so forth. What you need to understand is that ketones are not fermentable. Karen, thanks for that. Ketones are not necessarily fermentable through the Warburg effect. So I think a low-carb diet with some element of fasting, time-restricted feeding would be helpful for anyone recovering from cancer. Karen Black says, does OMAD eating in the morning increase ketones more than OMAD in the evening? Well, Karen, here's a beautiful thing. I don't know what's going to increase ketones for you, but the beauty of this is you can now test. You can test your ketones in the morning and the evening and see what's going to work for you. I do know that during the evening time and in the early, when you're sleeping, guess what happens? You start to break down fat. And so you start to utilize more fats, and ketones actually are lower, but it doesn't mean you're kicked out of ketosis. You can be utilizing directly beta fats in the form of free fatty acids being metabolized through beta oxidation, so your ketones may not be high. And as you increase more fat intake during the day, your ketones might be elevated. So it really depends, Karen. So what I would suggest is testing. You don't know until you test. All right. Thoughts on taking IGF-1 supplement? I wouldn't mess with it. There's no point unless you're going to be a professional bodybuilder, in which case you might want to look at insulin and all that. But again, I don't recommend that. Thoughts on peptides? Yeah, I know people are getting results with peptides and SARMs. If you want to learn more about SARMs, go on YouTube, Sarmageddon, and I reviewed Andrew's labs over there at Mark Bell's Power Project, and his labs got totally jacked on SARMs, and so sorry, I can't recommend SARMs. I'm sorry. Gianfranco says Warburg effect. Learn about that in college, reversing the TCA cycle. Yeah, so check out Thomas Seyfried and so forth. R3 Health says hit that like button. Yeah, man, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Spive21, thank you for taking Aaron out of here. Was he the one that was talking about Burger King the whole time? Zachary says I do fasting and I have a 22q11. I don't know this congenital heart disease. Pretty sure you can do it with cancer. Okay, thanks for that, Zachary. Hats off to you for keeping up the good fight. Cool, friends. Well, I got to finish some yard work. As I introduced the call, the reason why my hair is all crazy is our sump pump broke. It's a pain in the ass. So I got to go under my house and fix that. Anyway, what's the name of the company, Ron? What company? What company? Let me know. Scott G, you are very welcome. Thanks for being here. All right. Thoughts on taking 4+ grams of fish oil per day? Well, I know these people have these numbers they want to shoot for fish oil, but it depends on the form of the fish oil. So you have ethyl ester, you have triglyceride-based fish oil, you have monoglyceride concentrated, and that's what we offer through our business is monoglyceride concentrated because it's 3 times better absorbed than triglyceride and ethyl ester fish oil. So the cool thing about fish oil is you can test for this. We have Bill Harris on the podcast. We're going to post that very, very soon. It's called your omega-3 index, and you can see how much omega-3s you need for you. Everyone's different. So the person that said is 4 grams a day sufficient? Well, it just depends on your omega-3 index. It depends on your goals. It depends on how much fish you take and all that. So my personal omega-3 index was only 6% when I go off fish oil. So I take 2 grams per day, and that's effective for me. So it really depends, again, on what's going on. Okay, if the moon was blue cheese, would you eat it? Maybe, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, Jose said your vitamins and supplement company link. Yeah, I'll post that. It's myoscience.com, but as soon as we hang up, I'll post that. So, pals, I'm grateful that you were here. I know this was a little bit informal, but hope you have an amazing week, an amazing evening. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us, and we will definitely have more lives this week. I got to figure out this Wirecast thing. And if you enjoyed this, as always, hit that like button. Maybe share this with someone that you care about. We'll catch you soon. Have a good one. Bye now. Thanks, Maura. Thanks, Karen.